In addition to Black History Month, it's almost the 63rd anniversary of Tulsa Fire hiring the first African-American firefighters. 6 men joined the team on March 16, 1956. For Victor Grimes, he always wanted to be a firefighter. The equipment operator tells Two Works for You he was inspired by Merle Stripling, who lived across the street, and says in the early days he would watch crews hop on the back of engines and go out into the city to make a difference. Almost 20 years ago, Grimes joined the department and says it's a different world than what those first 6 faced back in 1950s. For Stripling, he worked in a segregated station with black men on one side and white men on the other. But they always fought fires together, and Stripling later went on to encourage Grimes.
Whenever I would see him, he would always, encourage me when I got on the job. And then once I got on the job, he always encouraged me to promote. Every time I would see him, he would say, "Have you changed that badge yet?"
Grimes says men like Stripling helped change the perception of black men in Tulsa by showing their eagerness to help the community. The firefighter says this is an ongoing lesson to see that we're more alike than we are different. Coming up tonight at 10, I'll show you others who made an impact on Green Country's history and ultimately the city's future. Reporting in Tulsa, Megan Allison, Two Works for You.
Victor Grimes, one of the best. Well, the debate over the border wall is heating up. Still ahead, the spots along the border needing a little help. Plus, a woman gets in some trouble for driving into this building. What made the incident so strange? Talk about a bad mistake. This woman in California got more than she bargained for when she drove her car into the lobby of a police station. The lobby was closed, but of course some officers came to check out what happened. That's when the woman tries to get back in her car and drive away. She was taken into custody. The Department of Homeland Security is moving to speed up the replacement of a border barrier near San Diego. The move came after officials there say some vehicles apparently crashed through the existing fence this week. Dan Plant shows us the damage.
It was never intended to be permanent, and it was never intended to be all that effective. More of a speed bump than anything else. But for more than a decade, this rusty old wall was the only barrier between the U.S. and Mexico.
That type of fence, it's a piece of junk. I mean, it was a start, but it's easily cut, it's easily knocked down, it's easily climbed. So it's not very effective as a fence.
This week we got some proof of that. This is a section of wall in Campo that was knocked down and run over. According to the border chief, 2 cars allegedly came across and were never found.
Now, when they run a truck through or a vehicle through, that's not running illegal aliens through, that's narcotics. And the big one of choice now, and I can't say for certain it was this, but it's fentanyl. We have an opioid crisis.
Whatever they were doing, it shined the spotlight on the weakness of the current border barriers. It also gives more firepower to those who want to build a new one.
I can't see how it would not be ammunition for anybody to say, look, we need a better barrier there. This is what happens when you don't have it.
So this is the exact fence that was knocked over in Campo. As you can see, it is rusted old corrugated steel, actually left over from the Vietnam War. Before this fence went up, there was absolutely nothing here. Back in the early 90s, Congressman Duncan Hunter at the time decided to use the old scrap metal and put some barrier up. Before that, you could just walk right in. Slowly but surely, that old corrugated steel is being replaced. Most of that was approved by President Obama. He also approved money for another 2,000 agents, but it's been a real struggle to fill those spots.
Law enforcement has been beaten up in the press. You know it, I know it, in the media, you just can't miss it. Been vilified, eviscerated. Why would you want to do that?
And that was Dan Plant reporting. On Friday, officials posted a waiver that will speed up the replacement of more than 12 miles of that barrier. There's no word yet when the project would begin and how long it could take.
And it's been a cloudy day across eastern Oklahoma. We have seen just a little bit of very light rain early this morning. Just a few sprinkles been drifting across the Tulsa area through the day today. A little bit heavier activity now moving over into northwest Arkansas, right around Fayetteville, just to the southeast of Bentonville. Parts of far southeast Oklahoma, some light showers and some very light rainfall, some drizzle out around the Oklahoma City area. So it's relatively quiet right now here in Tulsa, but as we move through the evening and especially overnight, we're going to see increasing rain moving across eastern Oklahoma and the Tulsa area. It should stay relatively light, but it looks like that chance will be going up as we move through the evening and overnight. Now, you notice the bulk of the rainfall from areas of North Texas around Dallas, across far southeast Oklahoma around the Little Rock area, and then into northeast Arkansas, where we have some heavy rainfall, some thunderstorms at this time. And this corridor of the rainfall is going to lift back to the north and west a little bit as we move through the overnight hours. So some of this little bit heavier rainfall is going to lift back towards northeast Oklahoma. So even though things are relatively dry right now here in Tulsa, it does look like that light rain chance will be increasing as we move through the overnight hours. Out there right now, our Buffalo Run Casino Renaissance Hotel cam. We're looking off to the south again. Highway 169 looking good. Traffic moving along nicely. We're at 43 degrees, so even with the cloud cover, temperatures have warmed into the lower 40s. Still below average for this time of year, but a little bit warmer than we've seen the last couple of days. And you notice the south-southeast winds at 6 miles per hour. So those light south winds and the cloud cover is going to help to keep our temperatures up tonight. It looks like we're going to stay well away from the freezing mark through the overnight hours. Here's a look at current temperatures for you. We're down to 39 in Tahlequah, 41 currently in Grove, also in Pryor, 40 in Fort Smith, and we're sitting at 44 degrees Bristow, 45, the warmest we can find out in Stillwater. Now you notice across most of the state, generally running upper 30s and lower 40s here. Same story for most of Kansas, areas of Missouri, and most of Arkansas. You notice out west, though, western areas of Texas. Look at these temperatures a little warmer, upper 40s and lower 50s. Those 50s out in Amarillo today are going to move to the east as we move on through the day tomorrow. So although we will see temperatures in the low to mid 40s today, it looks like mid 50s on the way for tomorrow before yet another cold front moves into eastern Oklahoma. So on future track through the rest of the evening hours, we'll see for the next 2 or 3 hours the highest chance in far southeast Oklahoma. But you notice as we move through the overnight, a little bit heavier rainfall pushing back to the north and west. So we'll see passing showers moving across the Tulsa area through the overnight hours. And most of eastern Oklahoma will see rainfall as we move through the overnight. And with the clouds and that light south wind, we're going to keep temperatures into the upper 30s to around 40 degrees. So running almost 10 degrees above average for that morning low. So we don't have to worry about anything freezing, with temperatures staying well above freezing through the morning hours. Then as we move through the day, we are going to see a chance for more showers starting to move on off. And then as we move into the afternoon, we're going to watch this cold front moving in from the west by 5 o'clock out in central sections of the state. We could see a couple of thunderstorms possible as this cold front moves in. At this point, we don't expect any severe weather, but a few rumbles of thunder will be possible through the evening hours if we have some of those thunderstorms roll on through. Cold front moves through, and then we'll see slightly cooler temperatures for our Tuesday. And it looks like the heaviest rainfall should be south and east of the Tulsa area, but many locations will pick up at least 1/4 of an inch, a few spots nearing an inch of rainfall, especially off to the southeast. Highs tomorrow generally low to mid 50s, a little warmer to the south and west, a little cooler to the north and to the east. And we have some big changes on the way just in time for Valentine's Day. Take a look at this. A little cooler on Tuesday behind that front. How about 64 on Wednesday? And right now, Thursday for Valentine's Day, 70 degrees. Looking great. Wow. And then let's don't talk about what happens on Friday, because another front moves through and temperatures only around 40 degrees. So big change this week, but hey, Wednesday and Thursday right now looking pretty good.
Let's don't borrow trouble.
That's right.
Taft, thanks.
You got it.
Basketball, lots of it this weekend. Dick.
Lots of it. ORU taking on South Dakota in South Dakota today. Highlights coming up next.
Ahead for us, the threat of a new government shutdown grows larger with just 5 days to go until the next deadline. Also, why many Americans worry they'll take a big hit on their taxes as April 15th approaches. Those stories and much more on Nightly News.
Who Works For You Sports, sponsored by your Oklahoma Ford dealers.
ORU visiting South Dakota today. Kevin O'Banner scoring 17 points or more in his last 6. He would lead the way again. Second half, it's Sam Kearns. ORU up 11. He gets to the rack for 2. He had 17 points and 5 assists in this game. 12 minutes left to play. ORU still up 11. Kevin O'Banner down low. And one opportunity within 3 people would convert the 3-point play. Then 4 minutes left.